Top 25 reaction time. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? It's me again, Golden Blue Dude, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I do college football videos every single day, so whether you agree with me, want to trash talk to me, or want to trash talk with me, you're going to enjoy this channel. So, yesterday I was a bit salty about the Texas loss. You know, a loss is a loss. They won, we lost. Moving on. Let's talk about the top 25, the new AP top 25 in specific. As usual, we will run down last week's AP top 25. 1 Clemson, 2 Alabama, 3 Ohio State, 4 Notre Dame, 5 Georgia, 6 Cincinnati, 7 Texas A&M, 8 Florida, 9 BYU, 10 Wisconsin, 11 Miami, 12 Oregon, 13 Indiana, 14 Oklahoma State, 15 Coastal Carolina, 16 Marshall, 17 Iowa State, 18 SMU, 19 Oklahoma, 20 USC, 21 Boise State, 22 Texas, 23 Michigan, 24 Auburn, and 25 Liberty. The two teams that fell out of the top 25, number 23 Michigan, they lost to a surprising Indiana 38-21, and Jim Harbaugh is in hot water unless they're going to give him a mulligan. Personally, I don't think they should, but they probably will. Then number 21 Boise State got blasted at home on the blue turf by BYU, 51-17. BYU looking really good. So let's look at what the new AP Top 25 looks like. We have a new number 1 team in the nation, people, and it is Alabama. And they have 59 first place votes. They are the undisputed number 1 team in the nation. They didn't play this week, but they didn't need to. Number 2, Notre Dame, rising 2 spots. They beat Clemson in double overtime at home, 47-40. No Trevor Lawrence. This is bad news for Cincinnati, or any one-loss team for that matter, that is hoping to get into the playoffs, because now Clemson will get Lawrence back and will probably throttle Notre Dame in the ACC title game, and Notre Dame will still get in because they have a win over Clemson. Number 3, Ohio State, beat Rutgers at home 49-27. They're 3-0. They're still cruising. They stay at number 3. And then last week's number 1 team is now the number 4 team, and that is Clemson. They lost at Notre Dame in double overtime without Trevor Lawrence. The defense is just, it's looking a little questionable. So Clemson actually needs to fix their defense, which is surprising. Number 5, Texas A&M. They rise 2 spots. They blast South Carolina and skip over Florida and Cincinnati, and they claim the number 5 spot. Number 6, Florida. They take a major step forward in getting into the playoffs. They rose 2 spots, and now if they win out, they will play Alabama for the SEC championship and a spot for the playoffs. If Alabama loses, they'll still get in, but if Florida loses, they will be out. So Florida still has to win out. Number 7, Cincinnati. They fall 1 spot. They do everything they're supposed to do. 6-0, beating some good teams, and at the end of the year, they're going to have a good resume, but it still might not be enough just because of things they cannot control. Number 8, BYU. They also rise 1 spot. An impressive win over Boise State, but BYU just hasn't played anybody great except for, well, Boise State. That's it. They have 2 more games. They're done. No conference championship. I don't think BYU really has a chance to get into the playoffs, but the path is still there. Number 9, Miami. They rise 2 spots. Now, Miami's only hope now to get to the playoffs is Clemson losing another game and get to the ACC championship and beat Notre Dame. That's a tall order, especially when Clemson gets Trevor Lawrence back, but it is possible. Notre Dame beating Clemson was actually a bad thing for Miami, because now Miami needs Clemson to lose another game, because Clemson has the head-to-head tiebreaker over Miami. Number 10, Indiana. Indiana controls their own destiny. If they win out, they're getting to the playoffs. This was a team that nobody was talking about, including myself. They are very surprising. Penix, their quarterback, looks great, and their defense looks pretty good as well, but they will be tested. They have to go to Wisconsin and to Ohio State. Number 11, Oregon. They cruise past Stanford, rise one spot, and I still think Oregon needs a lot of things to happen to get in the playoffs. Notre Dame beating Clemson also hurts Oregon as well. Number 12, Georgia, tumbling 7 spots after losing to Florida 44-28. They got outplayed. They got out everything. Georgia did not look good. They need an offense, and they need an offense now. They also need a miracle to get into the playoffs. It's not happening. Number 13, Wisconsin. For the second week in a row, they had to cancel their football game. Now they're going to need a lot of help to get into the playoffs. They have to go undefeated, and a lot of things have to happen. They do not control their own destiny. I know it's not their fault because of the COVID outbreak in their facility, but yeah, they need a lot of help now. Number 14, Oklahoma State stays the same. They go on the road and beat Kansas State 20-18. Next week, big game at Oklahoma, but they still need a ton of things to get back into the playoff conversation. The number one thing, you have to win out. Number 15, Coastal Carolina. They're right up there with BYU and Cincinnati, vying for that New Year's 6 bowl spot for the Group of 5. Coastal Carolina looks like a great team, and they're going to have a great resume at the end of the year if they can go undefeated, but they still need some things to follow their way to get to that New Year's 6 bowl. Another team right alongside Coastal Carolina, Marshall. They whoop UMass. UMass is a terrible team, though. But they whoop UMass. Coastal Carolina is one of the teams that's in the way of Marshall of getting to that New Year's 6 bowl, because I think at the end of the year, if Coastal Carolina wins out, they will have better wins than Marshall. Number 17, Iowa State. They're 5-2. They're looking really good. They could end up being in the Big 12 championship playing Oklahoma State or Oklahoma. You never know. But Iowa State's looking good. They have the head-to-head tiebreaker over Oklahoma. So, really, I think Iowa State just has to win out, and they're in the Big 12 championship. Number 18, Oklahoma. They actually need Iowa State to lose to get to the Big 12 championship. But, you know what? It's doable. Iowa State still has a few tricky games left out there. But Oklahoma seems to be rebounding from their early deficit. They were knocked out of the polls. Now they're climbing. They're back in the top 20, 5-2. You never know. Oklahoma could turn it around and get into the Big 12 championship with just a little bit of help. Number 19, SMU. They fall one spot. Every week it's looking more and more likely that SMU will not reach that New Year's 6 bowl. But all they need to do is win out and beat Cincinnati in the AAC championship game. That would probably knock Cincinnati out of the running, and then some other things would need to happen between Coastal Carolina, BYU, and Marshall. Number 20, USC. They come back and beat a good Arizona State team. They stay the same. They're 1-0, but man, there for a while it looked like USC was not going to have a good year, and they still might not have a good year, but they did come back and beat Arizona State, so step one taken care of. USC would need a crap ton of help to get into the playoffs. I don't see it happening. Number 21, Texas rises one spot. They do beat West Virginia, and I was salty about it, but a loss is a loss for West Virginia, and a win is a win for Texas. They're now sitting at 5-2. They don't look like a great team, but their record is halfway decent, so they climb one spot. Number 22, Liberty. They climbed 3 spots, and they beat Virginia Tech in a crazy game. Virginia Tech comes back, makes it a game, takes the lead, and then they block the field goal, take it back for a touchdown, but they called a timeout before it happened. So Liberty got a re-kick and kicked the game-winning field goal and knocked off Virginia Tech. This is a great win for Liberty. If Liberty wins out, they will have road wins against Syracuse, Virginia Tech, NC State, and Coastal Carolina. This is a good football team. Problem is, they're not in the conference. Number 23, another team that controls their own destiny, Northwestern. I think they're just ranked too low to get into the playoffs. But you know what? If they were to win out and beat Ohio State in the Big Ten title, I don't know. You can't never say never. So keep an eye on Northwestern, and they look like a pretty good team. Number 24, Auburn, sitting there at 4-2 with losses to Georgia and South Carolina. It makes no sense. I don't know why Auburn is ranked, but they are ranked. They didn't play. They stayed the same. Number 25, Louisiana Lafayette. They climbed back into the rankings. This is good news for Coastal Carolina. because at the end of the year for Chanticleer fans, Louisiana Lafayette will be ranked, and that will look even better as they win for Coastal Carolina. I think it's a great win either way, but having a team that's ranked at the end of the year as one of your wins is good for your resume. So there you go, the top 25 for this week. I don't disagree with it all that much. There's a few things I disagree with, but as a whole, this looks like a good top 25 reaction. I don't like Cincinnati falling and A&M and Florida jumping. I get it, Florida beat Georgia and A&M throttled South Carolina, but Cincinnati did nothing wrong to fall spots. It's just they jumped SEC teams over a group of 5. It is what it is. That's all I got for this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.